Oh, yes. Now, here we go. We are live. So I'm just going to check over here. Um, yes, it says we are live. So, hello. I cannot tell who is on and who is not. Um, but y'all bear with us while I'm trying to work through this new system. I'm trying to go live on multiple platforms at one time, and I really don't know which one we are live on and which one we are not. So, we're just gonna go ahead and start for the sake of time. Okay, we're live on Facebook. It shows that we're live on Hey Facebook. So as y'all come in, I want y'all to tag some people. Yay! Tag some people, and I'm gonna see if we are live on Instagram. No, so it is not showing me live on Instagram. Well, we gonna have to move on, man. Yep. All right. Well, let's move on. I thought it was gonna do it. We put the code in, the stream code in, and it said that it was gonna do it. Go live on your streaming software to connect. It has me showing on the live stream that we are live on the computer. So anyway, so y'all, I have Miss Brandy here, and tonight I just wanted to have a candid conversation with her about her journey of becoming. I have known Brandy and worked with Brandy for what, the past 4 years, is it? Yes.
Yes,
The
since
past
2020.
Yes, 2020, past 4 years. And I have seen Brandy come with like an idea, come with a vision, and now she is actually living in that vision. She has actually made it happen. You're on your what, second? Is it second or third retreat?
Yes. No, this is the second.
Second
The
retreat.
second.
Yep, on the second
Hmm.
retreat. So tell us a little bit about that journey, and let's start from the beginning. Like let's go back from 2020. Like set the foundation for us here.
Well, I can't go to 2020 without first saying that I actually met Jessica. Well, not formally, but we kind of met at mentorship in 2019. Was actually when I came to know who she was. And in 2019, so that was around May of 2019. So since then, for that the rest of that year, I was stalking her, so to speak, on social media. But then in 2020, when the pandemic hit, she started doing like different lives and stuff, and different challenges and all of that kind of stuff. And I started, tuning in more. So then at the end of the shift challenge was when she said that she was going to do a shift retreat in December of that year. And so I thought about it and I was like, oh, should I go? Should I not go? And then I just went. Like I didn't even, that thought, it like quickly left. Like before I knew it, I was sending my deposit. Yeah. So I went to the shift retreat in December of 2020, and I have not stopped following Jessica since. So I've been to everything that she's had since then. Um, the plan to win, the entrepreneur, the be her, like all the ones that she's done after 2020, I have been a part of.
How would you
So
say, like, how would you say those kind of helped you kickstart, like especially your journey, because you are not the same Brandy then that you are now. Like it has been full transformation. So share a little bit about that, and I also want you to share some of like the struggles and like how you had the necessary things to help you through that.
Okay, so the struggle was basically self doubt. Like I've always had in my mind that I wanted to do something concerning marriage. Like I wanted to either counsel or speak or something. I always knew that I wanted to do something concerning marriage because it was a passion. Like it's a passion of mine. And because my husband and I didn't have like a real solid foundation when we got married, that's what I guess lit that passion even more. So at the shift retreat though, like I was gonna do wives and mothers because at that time my kids were in so many different activities. So I was going back and forth, back and forth, and just doing stuff with them. And so I was actually speaking to wives and mothers then. And so I was actually speaking to wives and mothers then. And somebody had commented on something and said something, and I said, "Well, yeah, but I'm going to do marriage too because marriage is my passion." And before I knew it, I left the wives and mothers alone, and now I'm fully doing I'm fully doing marriage. So I would say the struggle was self doubt because at the same, even though I had friends and people asking me, like, what do you think about this? Like different advice on marriage, I still, in my mind, was not qualified. So what I do,
Mm.
I went to school. I went to school. I got my degree in counseling. After that, I got certified in Christian counseling, and so I became a counselor. And then from there, it just kind of like everything started rolling into Covenantal Connections, which I started in June of 22. Actually, June 12th, 2022 was when I launched Covenantal Connections.
What would you say, like, what was when you said doubt, because that's what a lot of women are dealing with right now. And as I was thinking about it, and I'm like, why is this just so easy for men to, okay, I'm going to start this, I'm going to go do this, I'm going to do that. Like, they deal with it, but I don't feel like not on a level. And I was like, what's the disconnect there? And one thing that I started to realize is that as a woman, we have, first of all, we've been put in categories and boxes. Um, we've kind of
Hmm.
been given a limited mindset of what we can and what we cannot do. And then also, it's just like,
Hmm.
I have so many things in life that I'm taking care of, or so many things that I'm responsible of. And so, who am I to think that I can actually go forward and literally make the vision that God gave me, make it a reality? And so, talk with us a little bit about, like, going through that self-doubt. And would you say, like, some of the things that you received, hey, y'all on Instagram, woo, we got Instagram on, y'all, let us know where you are coming from on Instagram as you pop in. We would definitely love to know where you're coming from. um and sorry, let's change that. And how do you feel like being equipped in certain areas help with that self-doubt as well?
Um, so this is gonna sound cliche because it's you, but actually the S in shift is what is how I kind of like moved away from that doubt. I first started, I had to give myself permission to do it. So when I did that, I was like, so the actually the S and the I is what really kind of like pushed me forward. So giving myself permission
Mhm.
and then identifying who I am.
Yeah.
I always knew who I was, but I dumbed it down in fear of what other people thought. So imposter syndrome was really heavy on me at one point. And so I kind of had in my mind like, but you can't do it like other people do it, or what if you say something wrong, and it's so all of that thing. And then I was, because I had other people that I was looking to as far as like marriage mentors and all that kind of stuff. I would see the things that they post, and I was like, I can't do that. Like, that's not me. And so, but once I gave myself permission to just be who I am, then that's when I started to flourish. I didn't even care what other people think. And I'm gonna go back to like last year when I did the first retreat. Um, the turnout, I'm not gonna say the turnout wasn't good because it was, because I feel like whoever needed to be there was there. Um, but I did overcompensate a lot in like the materials and things that I got. So it was like I kind of wasted money, but I don't really look at it as wasted money because everything is a learning experience. And so, but the feedback that I got from last year, and when I tell you I was nervous, and I believe I talked to you about it, I was nervous because it was the first one. And so I'm like, what if nobody come? Nobody is signing up. Da 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 da. I went through all of that, but I was like, I'm gonna just do it because God told me to do it. I said I'm gonna be obedient. He told me to do this, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. No matter who shows up, no matter who signs up, I'm gonna go ahead and do it, and I did.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Um, let's see. Instagram. Okay, there it is. So I'm just gonna go back and forth between us because Instagram is said they said on Instagram they're showing us funny. Like it has us zoomed all the way in and so you can't see both. So what I'm gonna do is go back and
Oh,
forth to whoever's talking so that way at least it'll look all right on Instagram. But this is our first time
okay.
Instagram going live using a streaming software. So please, 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 please bear with us. Um, I just lost my train of thought. All right, so let's talk about how you were like one thing I love that you admitted you was like I was scared. Like I was like how many people are going to be there? I don't think it was a good turnout. I don't think that many people this show up isn't what I think. And one thing that I even noticed with myself is that I had to ask myself like, well, how do you know if this is a good number or not, right? And I love how you said you were
Mhm.
like, I know who's going to be there is supposed to be there. And I think we see so much and we're so exposed to so many people's lives through the use of socials that we're looking at other people's things and we're like, okay, mine is supposed to look like this, or they had this amount, I'm supposed to have this amount. And so when we do something, especially with going into something new, like pivoting and transitioning into something new, which I really speak to, I really talk to, because it's almost like a ground zero. Like it's almost from starting over. Like you're going from a hairstylist, you got a stack clientele. Like you were doing well in the salon, and then it's like, I'm used to that. But now I'm out here doing something new, and then I got 10 people who show up, and I'm just like, dang, I didn't do well. And so I really like the conference. I really want to attack that mentality because that gives us a very limited mentality. It's like, it holds us in a box and it traps us from progression because so many people don't show the beginnings. Like they don't show
Mhm.
when nobody showed up, or they don't show when there were
Mhm.
only 2 or 3 people. Like they wait until like it's a
Mhm.
packed out house and then show us. And so when people are starting their journey, they expect to get those same results, and now they're comparing their
Right.
journey to somebody else's journey, which in part you can't do that because it's two separate journeys. It's like comparing apples and oranges. And so I really love the
Mhm.
fact that you talked about like what your expectations were, but then you had to transform how you thought about it. And here you are getting ready to do a number 2. And if you kept it based on solely the turnout or how you thought number 1 should be, like there would be no number 2. And so how are you feeling
Right.
about about going into your second retreat?
I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it. I'm not as nervous as I was last year. because what keeps coming to mind is don't despise small beginnings. So I know that this is my second one. So I'm not gonna be on the level as EXO Marriage Conference or any of Spark or any of the other ones that I've attended because this is my second year. So in order for me to get to where they are, I have to start small. Like everybody started somewhere. Everyone has started somewhere. Everyone has started at the bottom. They don't, the numbers that they have now are not the numbers that they've always had. And so I just have to keep reminding myself that each year is going to get bigger and bigger, and I just expect that.
That's so good. That's so good. Ooh, this is not a guess too. That is so good. Um, so let's switch gears here a little bit. I want to know like what were your biggest takeaways from becoming? Like your biggest takeaways from all of the events that you've gone to. What were your biggest takeaways and what was your overall experience that you've had attending any of my events?
Actually, just doing it, just showing up, being consistent and being consistent with who you are, not trying to show up as anyone else. Um, that's really it. Like that is what really like pushed me because seeing you like every time that you show up and you're saying, okay, this is not my best, or I may not look my best, or whatever. Like just being who you are, and then just owning where you are is what like pushed me. So I was like, okay, well, because I kept watching you, like I always watch you. So every time I see you, you always say something to that effect. Like keep showing up, keep doing what God told you to do, you know. And so that's what I did. So I'm like, well, I don't even with like going live now, that's a different thing because I'm still working on that, even though you tell us all the time that you have to go live. But I'm working on it. But that's the only thing that I don't think that I am as consistent with as I'm with other things like posting. I was just looking today at some notes from the, I think it was Entrepreneur Her. No. It was Plan to Win. And we were talking about social media and creating content and all of that kind of stuff. So I was looking at that today. And I was like, okay, so I'm posting, I was checking things off, but they're going live when I couldn't check off. I was like, oh, okay, I'm still working on it. But that just my biggest takeaway from each of them was just being consistent and keep showing up.
Yeah, keep showing up. That live one is tough. Like y'all be like, live. But I think once you get comfortable like with what you have, going live becomes easier. And the more you go live, the more easier going live is. It's like
Yeah.
when you first started, all you could think about is like who all's watching and what I look like and what they're gonna say and all of all of the things and because we're so self-conscious and we don't understand that the self-consciousness is something that literally has been put on us, not something that we per se created it,
Hmm.
but it's something that we've have adapted as our own because people are so judgmental, because people are so quick to want to nitpick everything. And I think becoming for me, the reason why I'm really so strong and passionate about really helping women evolve into their God-given versions of themselves, because when you really figure out who you are in Christ and you really become comfortable with who you are, you begin to release all of the limiting beliefs that you have. You begin to
Hmm.
not care so much about what other people think and how they feel. And you were just like so mission focused. Like, I know the assignment God has given me and I got to get through it. I got to do it. And the reason why I keep saying just show up is because you're going to get tried. You're going to get tried in a season. Like, I literally just had a conversation with God in the car. And even with pushing and marketing and promoting the Becoming Weekend Live, I have not done my best work. I will say that. Like, compared to what I've done before, I have not really been present as I have. And I was like, God, I gotta fight through this. God, like, you gotta help me get through this. Like, the warfare is strong. And I'm, just want to have a transparent moment here. It's like, when I think about it and I'm like, okay, I'm about to make a video, or I'm about to show up, or I'm about to do this, I literally get like a heaviness on me, almost like my body feels numb. And I'm like, what is going on here? But I know, like, when I was saying I was gonna, like, quit, I was like, I'm not gonna have it. I'm gonna quit it. The Holy Spirit was like, no, you gotta do this. You have to do this regardless of how you're feeling. You gotta do this regardless of if there's 1 or 50 people in the building. You have to do this. And the warfare that I'm fighting is that I myself am in a pivotal, in a transition season. And so, it was like God was saying, like, yeah, I gave you this assignment, but this assignment is a little different because I want you to go through this assignment in real time. Like, I want you to go through this live. Like, it's not like, okay, we're going to go through this, you get to get over it, and then you get to do the things. He was like, no, because I've called you to help women through this. And it's one thing to share what happened and then this is how it is, but God, I feel like God is like, I need this to hit differently, so I want to make you go through this in real time, in front of the people, right? Because I need them to see, like, real time, real life miracles. I need them to see what it really feels like and looks like. And he's like, and I can trust you with your transparency. Like, you've shown proof that you ain't afraid to say this is what it is, but this is how God is moving me through it. And I think that this is why it's been so hard um for me really to push this. And it's almost like this is a character test for me. Like, I've never had to fight this hard for an event. Like, never. And it's crazy. When we did the shift retreat, I released it, right? In 2 days it was sold out. Like, becoming a boss, you know, that one was sold out. Like, I just literally did brunches that were full. And now I'm in a season where it's like, whoa, this is not looking like my things usually look like. And I know my messaging is a little different. I'm speaking more to the soul. I'm speaking more to the person. When before I had a specific thing that I was speaking about and talking about. And so me giving God my yes is giving him my yes regardless of what it looks like. Like, and being
It
content
is.
with whatever is going to be in the room. Like, being okay with building from ground zero. And I was having lunch with a friend today, and I was telling her, I was making some shirts, right? And God began to speak to me as I was making the shirts. And he said, you've become too good to use your hands. And I was like, ooh. When I tell you, I almost was like, but I forgot who I was about to do that to. And I was like, I don't want no smoke. But yes, and he was like, and so now I'm really understanding this whole season in an essence. Like, it is easy to be on go. It is easy to be consistent. It is easy to do the thing when you are on top, when everything is going your way, when you are making money, when everything looks successful. But what does it look like when God says, I want you to start over? Like,
Mm.
are you willing to actually start over, or are you going to quit because the start over doesn't look like what it used to look
Mm.
like? Like, are
Can
you
I remind you
willing?
of something?
Yes,
Can
yes,
I remind you of something? So
yes.
I'm not sure exactly when it was, but I know it had to be at least a month ago or more. You had posted, you said, this is going to be a God did it season. And I commented and said, that's all I want is God did it. I don't remember when when we get off, I'm gonna go find it. But you posted that on Facebook, and I said that is all I want is God did it. All I want is for Him to do it. So however He does it, then that's all that matters. Because I don't want to get the glory of for none of this. Right? I want all the glory to go to him. I want whoever he has to show up to the bliss experience in a couple of weeks. That's who's supposed to be there. That's all I've been praying for. I have a number in my mind. Yes, sure enough, because as business, we're supposed to put everything out, write it all down. But at the same time, I'm yielding everything to him. So he's gonna have to do it. And when you posted that, I was like, I'm done. That's it. That's all I want. So those were your words. This is a God did it season. So he's gonna do it with the becoming live. That is him.
Man, like, sometimes I'll be like, I got to stop posting everything God be telling me. He be like, you go live this out, girl. But you right. You right, because I felt like that. Like, and in the situation, like, not that I won't even say situation, but where I am right now, I don't see a way that I can pull the cat out of the bag. So it is definitely a God did it moment. And I'm just looking at it like,
Hmm.
this is the beginning and this is the start of the new thing. Like, and in an essence, fleshly, it don't feel good. Because if we could just be honest here,
Mm-mm.
in the flesh,
Mm-hmm.
it absolutely, positively does not feel good. Um,
Mm-mm.
and sometimes we don't like to acknowledge that we have to renew our minds daily. We don't like to acknowledge that we got to kill the flesh daily. And so the flesh does want the numbers and the metrics, and it wants it to look a certain way, because if it doesn't, then it's like, oh girl, you ain't what you used to be. You know what I'm saying? And then God is like, no, you're not what you used to be. Like, you are
Yep.
something new.
Yep.
Like, you are becoming, honey. Like, you are becoming the person who I created you to be. And that's foundational. That's process, that's steps. And you can't worry about those things because I control them. Like, I control
Hmm.
those things. And all I need you to do is continue to say yes. All I need you to do is continue to show up. All I need you to do is continue to be obedient. And when you're not obedient, repent and don't do it again. Like, that is all God is requiring of me. And then he's like, I'm going to do everything else. And as a recovering control freak, that's tough. It really is tough, but at the same time, like, I'm thankful. Like, it's I almost feel like a Paul right now. Like, I almost feel like that. You know, not to that degree, because my God, but to the degree of I understand the contentment. Like, we want God to mimic our fleshly desires. And when he says he's going to give us
Hmm.
the desires of our heart, those desires got to align with him. And so
Absolutely.
when you haven't fully become, or even when you're not on the journey of becoming, and you are still living under the facade of this illusional person, this person that you created, this I'm gonna go on and say this Delulu person, right? then how can God give you the desires of your heart when you aren't even in your right mind to have your right heart per se? Um,
Yeah.
and so, I felt like that there needed to be space. Like just like you was like, we need spaces for marriages. And I am like, we need more marriage retreats. We need more marriage things because that's where I feel like the enemy is attacking marriages and the enemy is attacking identity. And when you got two people who are supposed to be one and you can cause division in that, then it's like what God has planned for that unity gets like a wrench thrown in it. Like the enemy
Mhm.
understands separation. He understands that if I
Mhm.
can keep you two separated, y'all can't be powerful under your unit, under your covenant, right? And so then identity, if I can steal your identity, how can you get what God wants you to get? If I can steal your identity, when it comes time for you to stand before Christ, He gonna say, "Depart from me, I don't know you," because you lived
Never
your
knew you.
whole life as somebody who He never intended you to live, because you allowed the enemy to take away your identity. And so when we become firm in who we are in Christ, like when we start understanding his principles, when we start understanding his promises, when we start believing that we are fearfully and wonderfully made, when we start believing that he did set us apart, when we start believing that he has plans to prosper us, when we start believing all of those things, when we start believing that we are his handiwork, when we start believing all of those things, we start to look at ourselves differently. And when we look at ourselves differently, our yes becomes more like a yes and a maybe. And then we do our marriage retreat. And then we're like, I know when we come back again, it's going to be even better. And I know when we come back again, and it's going to be even better. And God is like, because you kept persevering. Oh, thank you, Holy Spirit. Because perseverance builds character.
Hmm.
And we and adversity builds perseverance. The perseverance builds character, and your character builds hope. And so God is, come on, Holy Spirit. In order for you to have hope, which is the belief, which is the faith, in order for you to have that, you got to go through some things.
You
And
got to keep going.
yeah, we've gotten into a time where we don't want to go through the things anymore. Like we just want to snap our fingers and we want it to happen. We don't want to go through the purging. We don't want to go through the breaking. We don't want to go through the separation. Like we don't want to peel away. We don't want to go through a metamorphosis. And we want to remain who we are because it's comfortable, because it's safe, what we think is safe. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I would dare say, we don't want to go through the purging because we've already been shown the end. So because we see the end, we don't know what all we have to go through to get to the end. So we
Yeah.
think we're just going, and it's just going to be like, because I've had visions already of me speaking to like hundreds of people, like yeah, just being in front of people. I don't know when it's going to come. When I got the vision for doing the conference, I saw more couples. Like I saw a lot of couples, and that didn't reflect last year. But then I had to think about, this is the first one. So how do you expect to get you now that I know what the end is. Okay, God, what do I need to do to get to what you've shown me? I know that there's a process, because there's always a process that we have to trust. But what do I need to do? How do I get there? How do I get to what you're showing me? And so that's when we have to take more time in seeking him, and really hearing what it is that he wants us to do, not based on what we're seeing from other people, because it's easy to get distracted when you see somebody else putting on a marriage conference and they have 30,000 people there, but then you do one and you only have 10, and you're looking like, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? Because these people have, like, what am I not doing right? So automatically you think you're not doing something right, right? Because the turnout is not right. But at the same time, when you think about it, everybody has to start somewhere. Everybody has a process that they must go through, and everybody's journey is different. So, yeah, I may have had 10 people last year. I had more than that, but I may have 10 people last year, but God can do what He wants to do when He wants to do it. This year I can have 30. Next year I can have 100. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't matter, because as long as we're trusting Him and actually seeking what it is that He wants us to do and not getting in the way of that, then it's a God did it season. We can't take the credit for it. And I believe that that's why He puts us in certain situations, because He knows that if we can make it happen on our own, we're gonna be, yeah, I did this.
Right.
But that's not what He wants. That's not what He wants. When we're doing something that He has called and created us to do, all the glory goes to Him. So it doesn't matter how I feel about it. Like I told the people last year, I said at the end, the last day, I told them, I said, registration was slow. I didn't know who was going to show up. I did get discouraged. But at the same time, I said, God, you told me to do this, so I'm going to be obedient and do
Yeah.
it. And I did it. And the feedback that I got was amazing. Like they thoroughly enjoyed it. And that's why I believe whoever needs to be there will show up. He's going to make it to where they show up. So,
Absolutely. That's so good. That's so good. That's so good. And that brought me back, and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna let you go because I did tell you only 30 minutes. And I be getting on here and I just be talking. Um uh that when we get the vision, God gives us the end first.
hmm
And a lot of times when we see the end, we think it's supposed to be the now in what we're doing. But we won't get to the end
hmm
unless we continue to push through. And so it's like the same thing. You see the end version of yourself. Like, and we get frustrated because we know, like, I'm capable of doing this. I can be this. I can do that. Like, in my mind, I see myself with the successful business or with the successful coaching program, or even being taking care of my house and being a good mom and wife and all of those things. Like, I know I see myself doing that, but it's not looking like what I see right now. And we got to remember that when God shows us the thing, our job is now to go through the process. And the process prepares us and positions us to be that person. And that's why I was like, I gotta focus on becoming. Because people like becoming, I already became. And I'm like, no, boo boo, you haven't. Like
hmm
it is a it's a journey. And
It
it's
is.
like you've become in that season, right? So once you've accomplished
hmm
that, there's a something next. So you're always going to be in the transition of becoming. And you got to be able to deal with mourning who you were and mourning what you don't have anymore. But also embrace and be excited about where you're going and what you're getting. And like I said in the in I think the retreat I had last April, I was like, you got to be her before you become her. So
Yes.
you don't get to wait until it's there and then all of a sudden you're that person.
hmm
It's like, no, I have the
hmm
vision of who I am right now. So let me become. Like, I got to be this person. So if I see myself hosting successful retreats, if I see myself teaching, if I see myself doing those things, then I have to be that person now. Like now, so now here is the preparation. How does that person think? How how does that person move? What are things that I need to start doing now that puts me in position to be that, to become that person later? And I think we
Yeah.
discount that portion there. And so then we wonder,
Yeah.
why are we quitting all the time? We wonder, why isn't my business successful. Like, I feel like people spend so much money in the how to's, right? How to do this, how to do that, how to do this, how to do that. And then they get frustrated because they still can't get to, they're not performing the how to on the level that they've hoped to, right? And then they want to
Mm.
blame the person. Now, sometimes it is the person giving the class because some people be giving, you be like, really, you charging people for this? But most of the time, it's literally because you are trying to operate as a future version of yourself that you haven't yet become,
Yeah.
and it doesn't mix. And so I'm like,
Yeah.
if people would really understand and pour more into themselves, really focus on soul strategies, really focus on mindset shifts, like really focus on the whole person of themselves, then there will be nothing that you would not be able to accomplish. So when you go to start
Right.
that business, or when you shut down one business and you move into another business fully, right? Then
Mm-hmm.
that transition season, or that wilderness season for you, won't be as detrimental because you're prepared for it. Like, you understand what's
Right.
going on, you understand what's happening. And when I feel like when you understand, you don't have to know all of the steps, but when you understand, you can be content. Like, when Paul was in jail, he understood what was going on. He understood why he was going through this. He didn't know all of the if then the others or the what ifs or what's going to happen, but he understood it. And if he didn't understand anything else, he understood that whatever position or whatever season I'm in, God is going to take care of me, because all the things have to work together for the good of me, cuz I love God. He understood that.
Mm-hmm.
So he was able to stand on business. And
Mm-hmm.
when we can get to that part, when we can get to that
Mm-hmm.
portion, like, we're really setting ourselves up for success in the future. We're really setting ourselves up to really be able to achieve the thing that God has us doing, and the assignment in whatever particular season that we have.
Yeah.
So, y'all,
Yeah.
Brandy, tell the people why they should, first of all, register and show up.
For becoming live.
Yeah, for Becoming Weekend Live.
Okay. Let me tell y'all something. So I'm gonna just say, if you've ever had any idea, anything that you wanted to do in the
Brandy,
back
back
of
up
your
just a little
head,
bit.
back up. Okay.
Yep.
If you've had anything in your mind that you wanted to do, and you kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off because you had so many other things going on, that becoming weekend live is for you, because you will come to understand that in order for you to be able to take care of other people, you have to first take care of yourself. So you have to put yourself first.
Yeah.
That weekend is designed for you to put yourself first. Once you put yourself first and you realize who you are, why the way you are, um, why the way that you are, okay, and then, like, there's so many different aspects of who you are. You're going to find out why you act the way you do. You're going to find out why you respond to certain things the way you do. It's so much that you're going to learn about yourself that you may literally just be like, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
This weekend is for you to figure that out. Like, the reason why I say you're going to know who you are is because we lose ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
If we're honest, we lose ourselves in marriage, we lose ourselves in raising children, we lose ourselves in going to somebody else's job because we're
Yeah.
performing to the title that they want us to perform to.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's not, and then we lose the fact because we don't know who we are to our core. Like, we don't know who we are in our heart because we're so focused on fulfilling a title that we don't know us anymore. We only know us as, I remember Jessica asked us, who are we? Everybody in there said, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a business owner, I'm a this, I'm a that. She said, okay, but who are you? And we were dumbfounded. Like nobody could say anything because we didn't know. Like you don't know who you are outside of the title that you hold.
Yeah.
But that becoming weekend live is going to show you who you are. So if you are on the fence about going, just go. Don't even think about it anymore. Just show up. Just register. Go to the website now and just register. You're going to, I promise you, when I left the shift retreat in 2020, I'm a sleeper on the plane. I could not sleep on that plane on the way back. The book that she gave, I was just writing. Before I knew it, the plane was landing. Like there, when you're gonna be so full when you leave, to you're gonna have to let it out. And yeah, so just come, just come. And if you have to do it by yourself, do it by yourself. You don't need anybody to come with you.
Yeah.
You don't need anybody to come with you. Go by yourself because you're working on yourself. You're not working on you and your friend. You're working on yourself. Go by yourself. You don't need
Yes.
anybody else.
Yes. Because so often we be like, I'm not going because I don't want to go by
I,
myself. And literally, the last couple times I've been to conferences by myself, man, I picked up like purpose partners that I am still
mhm,
communicating with, that I still talk to. Um, versus if I had gone with a group of people, I probably would not have put myself out there to talk to other
mhm,
people. But just like Brandy said, when I tell you this is a transactional, transformational and experience, everything that God has me do becomes transactional and transformational. Trans trans how do I say that? Transformational. Jesus.
transformational.
And so the reason why I say that it's transactional is because a lot of times we go places and we sit and we hear and then that's it. But
Mhm,
how I view as a transaction, like there's an exchange. Like I
mhm,
the atmosphere is set. Like I am big about atmospheres. Um and the atmosphere is always a welcoming place. Like people really feel like they can open up, right? And so because they open up, that allows me and them, or me and my guests that I bring on, to have a transaction. And that
mhm.
transaction starts something in their mind and in their brain, right? And it's not like I'm talking to you just, hey, lecture. Like, I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge your thoughts. I'm going to challenge what you used to think, who you used to think you are. And then you're going to sit there and you're going to work through that. Like, so the other part of the transactional is I actually, I like hands on things. So you will actually be doing some of the work while you are there. And then I'm going to send you home with homework. So you're going to have stuff to do when you get home. So that's why I say it's transformational, because you do not, the way you come in, you don't leave the same. If you come in with an open heart, if you come in with an open mind, if you come in ready, I promise you, you will not leave the same. And I will say, out of everybody who has come ready to receive, there is a 100% turnover. I mean, 100% success rate. They have all like literally went ahead and done their thing, like all of them.
You you cannot attend and not do anything afterwards. You just won't even feel right not applying what it is that she pours out because it's so much. And by the time you leave, she really makes you feel like I can do anything. I can go out there right now and start this. Like that is y'all, I'm telling you, if If I could be there, I can't be there, and I'm so mad that I can't be there because that's the week of my event. But at the same time, is I already know that once you leave there, you're gonna flourish. Like you're gonna have so many ideas come in your head as she's talking and as she's pouring and all the activities that she's gonna have y'all do. You're gonna have the ideas are gonna flood your mind, and you're gonna be so overwhelmed with information to where when you leave there, you're gonna have to let it out. So you can't stay there. You can't leave there and just stay where you are. You're gonna have to move.
Have to, a requirement. And if you don't, you're gonna feel tortured. That thing is not gonna leave you alone.
That part.
Oh gosh. All right,
Yeah.
Brandy. Well, I thank you so much for joining me tonight. I thank all of you who
You're
all
welcome.
who viewed. We're gonna have to try to get this Instagram down packed a little bit more to figure out how I can get it landscape. Um, we're gonna figure that out. But we were able to go live on all platforms, so that was the good thing. And I'll be back with more lives, you all, from clients that I've worked with, from mentees that I had, because I just don't want to just tell y'all that this is going to be like this. No, I want to bring people on who are living proof that if you take what you learn and you apply
Mhm.
knowledge, wisdom, you do it, you
Mhm.
take action, that you will
Mhm.
absolutely get to the place where you are trying to get to. So y'all make sure y'all
Yes.
go and register. Um, Friday night is free for everyone. So that's our kickoff. It is the Women of Impact ladies night in pajama party, and we are going in. We are going in on Friday night. So there's no excuse why you can't be a part of the conference one way or another. But I promise you, after you come to Friday night, you're gonna be like, I got to be in the room on Saturday. Like, I got to be in the building on Saturday. And so Saturday is our impartation. Like, that's when we're getting busy and we are doing the work. I have two guest speakers who are going to come in and speak as well. And so when I say we're going to do the work, like even our lunch while we eat, somebody is going to be talking and sharing their testimony and giving you all some encouraging words. And so um, we're going to maximize the entire day. We're going to worship together on Sunday. And then we're going to have our closing ceremony, closing remarks in class after worship. So y'all make sure y'all get in the room. And I'm going to tell y'all now, like, y'all see where this price is. Right now, I have it at $147 for general admission. Now, don't be like me when there were some people that I wanted access to and I wanted to go to their events. And when they were building and I could like afford to go, I was like, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. Now these people are running events, and I'm like, dang, I should have went when I had the opportunity to go at that price. So,
Mhm.
um, and this is literally the cheapest, well, the least inexpensive that I've ever had any kind of thing like this. So, y'all better grab your tickets now. Show up, be there. Thank you again so much, Brandy. I'm gonna try to see if I can so much again for joining us or joining me on this live. I'm definitely going to miss you. It's going to be a little weird because you have been at everything. But at the same token, I am super excited because you are on your second annual. And I keep saying I'm
Yes,
going to go.
ma'am.
So before we make dates for next year, we're going to have to get together because I definitely want to
Okay.
come to your retreat. I definitely want to come. So we're gonna have to make sure
Okay.
that we not colliding so I can be there. Um
Okay.
so once you got anything else before we get off, even though Instagram people can't see this.
Um. So I saw a post that Naomi did, and Naomi is my shift sister from 2020. We connected. That's another reason why y'all need to come by yourself. If you come by yourself, you never know the connections that you're gonna make. I
Yeah.
connected with two ladies that I still keep in contact with from 2020. Naomi is one of them, and I saw her post that said that she was going to give $100 towards somebody that wanted to go. So I'm going to match that.
Woo!
If you have someone that you want to go that has inboxed you or sent you a message and said that they want to come but they can't afford to, I'll pay their registration.
Wow.
I'll give you a hundred. I'll give you $100 towards it. I'm gonna do what is doing because
Wow.
I really believe in what Jessica is doing. I know how it has changed me, and I just want to do that for somebody else.
Let me tell y'all, if
So,
y'all don't jump in, if you got it, God know your heart. Let me just start there.
mhm,
God knows your heart.
mhm,
But if you know that you really want to be there and you need some assistance, so that is two. We have two, I would say, almost full scholarships. Um,
mhm,
and we also have two full scholarships. So if you know that you need to be there, and you gotta be there, like, because we not wasting this. So we are not wasting this. So get in my
mhm.
inbox, message me, and we're gonna have to figure out how to do this.
Just let
Message
me
me.
know. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, message me and let me know, and we're gonna work it out so that you can be in the building. All right. So all right, y'all. Let me go. It's 9:23. I know my people was like, she just started cooking and left. Give me grace, family. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in, and y'all turn your notifications on for the next live. Um, with another guest. I'll probably be on tomorrow. So, all right. Thank you again, Brandy. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome.
See
You're
you
welcome.
later.
All right. Bye bye.